Chapter 1: The Start of a Normal Day. It was a bright and sunny morning. I woke up with a big smile on my face. Today, I had an important Zoom call. The call was for my work project. I was feeling a bit nervous. But I knew I was prepared. I got out of bed quickly. I brushed my teeth and washed my face. Then, I went to the kitchen. My pet chicken, Clucky, was already awake. Chapter 2: Breakfast Time with Clucky. Clucky is a very curious chicken. She follows me everywhere I go. I poured some cereal into a bowl. Clucky watched me closely. I could see her eyes on the cereal. "Not for you, Clucky," I said. But Clucky kept staring at the bowl. I couldn't resist her cute face. So, I gave her a tiny bit of cereal. Clucky happily pecked at the cereal. Chapter 3: Getting Ready for the Call. After breakfast, I went to my room. I needed to get ready for the call. I put on a nice shirt. I wanted to look professional. Clucky was still following me. She clucked softly, as if talking to me. "You can't join the call, Clucky," I said. But Clucky seemed interested in my laptop. She jumped onto my desk. I gently picked her up and set her down. Chapter 4: The Zoom Call Begins. It was time for the Zoom call. I opened my laptop and logged in. The screen showed all my colleagues. Everyone was smiling and saying hello. I greeted them and settled into my chair. Clucky was wandering around the room. The meeting started with introductions. Each person took a turn to speak. I was waiting for my turn. Clucky suddenly jumped back onto my desk. Chapter 5: Clucky's Grand Entrance. I tried to move Clucky away again. But she was too fast for me. She pecked at the laptop keys. The screen flickered as Clucky pecked. My colleagues noticed Clucky. "Is that a chicken?" someone asked. I felt my cheeks turning red. "Yes, this is Clucky," I said shyly. Clucky clucked loudly into the microphone. Everyone on the call laughed. Chapter 6: Clucky Takes Over the Call. Clucky seemed to enjoy the attention. She started walking across the keyboard. My laptop screen went haywire. Clucky's feet were pressing random keys. I tried to move her, but she resisted. "Clucky, please," I whispered. But Clucky was having too much fun. She flapped her wings excitedly. The screen was now full of strange symbols. My colleagues were laughing even harder. Chapter 7: Trying to Regain Control. I gently lifted Clucky off the desk. But she wasn't done with her adventure. She jumped right back onto the desk. I tried to stay calm. "Please excuse Clucky," I said. My colleagues were very understanding. "She's quite the character," someone said. I couldn't help but smile at Clucky's antics. But I knew I needed to regain control. The call was about an important project. Chapter 8: Clucky's Final Act. Just as I was about to continue, Clucky did something unexpected. She pecked at the end call button. The screen went black. I was suddenly disconnected from the Zoom meeting. I stared at the screen in disbelief. Clucky stood proudly on the desk. She looked very pleased with herself. I couldn't help but laugh. "Well, Clucky, you really took over the call," I said. Clucky clucked as if she understood. Chapter 9: Rejoining the Call. I quickly rejoined the Zoom meeting. My colleagues were still laughing. "We thought you left us for good," someone joked. Clucky had other plans, I said, smiling. The meeting continued, but Clucky was now famous. Everyone wanted to see more of her. I had to keep Clucky away from the laptop. She kept trying to jump back on the desk. 89, but I managed to keep her on the floor. 90, the meeting finally came to an end. Chapter 10, After the meeting. After the call, I sat back in my chair. Clucky was walking around the room again. I thought about how the meeting went. It was definitely not what I expected. But it was memorable, thanks to Clucky. My colleagues would never forget this day. I knew Clucky would continue her antics. But I loved her for it. She brought joy and laughter to my day. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Chapter 11, A New Plan. After the meeting, I had an idea. Maybe Clucky could join my calls more often. She was a natural entertainer. But I needed to find a way to keep her out of trouble. I thought about getting a small perch for her. That way, she could watch the calls without causing chaos. I decided to try it out in the next meeting. But for now, Clucky was happy exploring the room. She pecked at the floor, looking for crumbs. I watched her, feeling grateful for her company. Chapter 12, Clucky's New Role. The next day, I set up a perch for Clucky. I placed it near my desk, within her view. When it was time for another Zoom call, I brought Clucky over. She seemed curious about the perch. I placed her gently on it. Clucky looked around, getting comfortable. The meeting started, and my colleagues appeared on the screen. Clucky stayed on her perch, watching intently. Everyone was happy to see her again. But this time, she was calm and quiet. Chapter 13, Clucky the Zoom Star. As the meeting went on, Clucky stayed in her place. She occasionally clucked softly, but didn't cause any trouble. My colleagues were impressed. Clucky is behaving today, someone said. I smiled, knowing the perch was a success. Clucky had become a Zoom star. She was part of the team now. Everyone looked forward to seeing her. Clucky had found her new role. And she seemed to enjoy it. Chapter 14, Life with Clucky. Life with Clucky was always interesting. She brought joy and laughter into my home. Every day was a new adventure with her. Whether it was a Zoom call or a quiet afternoon, Clucky was always by my side. She had become more than just a pet. She was my companion, my little friend. I couldn't imagine my life without her. Clucky had made every day special. And I knew there were more fun times ahead. Together, we could face anything. Chapter 15, The Best Zoom Call Ever. The day Clucky took over my Zoom call was unforgettable. It started as a normal day but ended with laughter and joy. Clucky had become the star of the show. She had brought everyone closer, even through the screen. I realized that sometimes, the unexpected moments are the best. They remind us to laugh and enjoy life. Clucky taught me that lesson in her own unique way. I was grateful for that day, for Clucky, and for the memories we created. I knew I would never forget the day my pet chicken took over my Zoom call. And neither would Clucky. If you like this story please like, share, and subscribe.